Old Man Wade Show. I am your host, the God of Stubborn, the Lord of Laughter, the Sire of Sarcasm, Old Man Wade. And without my co-host again, he's out doing some secret mission that he can't tell me about for some weird reason, but I'm going to let it go. But I'm joined by a couple special guests here. One guy has been here previously. Give it up once again for the Night Ned.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
And with his brother, would you like to tell everyone who you are, what you do?
Hey guys, my name's Danny. I'm just your run-of-the-mill comic book nerd.
You know what? It would be nice if my drops actually work, but I had those. And you can expect this type of production from the Old Man Wade Show every week. I swear, like whenever I have something like planned, something stupid like this happens. Like
You were off on that on the last one you did with Valkyrie, discussing Endgame.
Yeah.
With your language.
Yeah, I get pressed, like, why won't this stupid thing work? But I'm gonna get it eventually. This is new technology. I just got a Mac, so I'm using GarageBand and all this other stuff. So it's just different and weird trying to figure all this shit out. But anyway, how's everybody today?
Good, great, glad to be here.
So we're going to be discussing, most of this is going to be talking about Endgame. But first, you're going to Croatia?
Yeah, I'm taking a trip with a couple of college buddies of mine. Gonna check out the sites. King's Landing was filmed in Croatia, so we're gonna check out some of the tours.
Is that a Game of Thrones thing?
That is a Game of Thrones thing.
Okay.
But, you know, they got some decent beaches, some nice bars. Just check out the scenery. Change of pace.
I absolutely dig it. It's funny because I don't hear Croatia and think great beaches.
No, it was not on the top of my list, but it just kind of popped up in circulation, and I was like, why not?
How long's the trip?
It's just for a week. Leave tomorrow, take a couple flights, see what happens.
Ned, you know you're going to get a message like, hey, I'm not coming back.
The hell he says.
He's like, no, I'm good.
Sure.
Like, I think I'm here. I'm like, I'm good. Again, drop didn't work.
It'll work out.
It's a trap.
It was a trap.
You know what it is? I forget that once it's on this page, I actually have to wait a couple seconds for it to load and all that stuff. All right. So before we get into our main topic, I have a fun one. Ned's already seen this. But so I wrote an article about the best fictional characters to and not to drink with.
That was a fun one. I enjoyed reading that.
So I'm going to ask both of you because you've read the article.
I read the article.
I'm putting you on the spot and see so you give me a yay or a nay, and if you have an explanation, give me an explanation of why you would or would not drink with these fictional characters.
All right.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Ready.
See, this would be the time I should have had some Jeopardy music ready and prepared, and I could have went from there. Next time. All right. First off, Wolverine.
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right.
I feel like he would be good to drink with, though, if you wanted to just have companionship and not really talk about anything, or if you were going through something like really heavy and sorrowful and you needed somebody who could really relate.
That makes sense.
He's a chill night in kind of drinker.
So yeah, one of the reasons I had was he was on he was bar hopping worldwide with Captain America, and he was going to take Cap to a bar that sold I think it was beer from fermented frost giant blood.
There you go. Yeah, he's lived a full life, so he knows where all the best spots are.
Yeah. Bender from Futurama.
No.
He's gonna steal my shit.
Yeah.
Maybe my liver.
Yeah, I was just about to say you're gonna wake up without a kidney.
What did Maria say? I think Maria's exact words were, "Yes, but not a lot. Although we might become friends, he also might sell me some parts on the black market."
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly.
Hercules from Marvel Comics.
I'm gonna go with no.
No, he's gonna get into some trouble. I don't want to be in that.
I feel like he would just be, just like, drink, party, and
harass women.
Yeah, harass women.
Single Mark says yes. Married Mark says fuck no.
Agreed. Actually, that's a good breakdown.
My buddy said no. Too much pressure. An assault on my masculinity. Buddy the Elf.
I feel like it would be fun given the right situation. Like, are we at like a Christmas party?
Sure, why not?
You know, like are we at like a Christmas party? Are we at like some type of event where it's all about joy and fun and like having a great time, like backyard barbecue kind of drinking? Buddy might be okay, but you know, had a long week at work.
No,
Absolutely not.
You look like you're deep in thought, like you don't even know what you want to say here.
I definitely want to take him out drinking because he's the center of attention. He knows how to make people feel joyful.
I never thought about that.
Just look at the mailroom scene from the Elf movie. He just gets a little bit of a nip, and then he's got the whole place bumping.
That's actually a really good point.
Yeah.
The only thing is, I would want an extra chaperone to watch him. I can't, like, if it's just me and him, I'm going to have to be stone cold sober to keep a tight leash on him.
I just picture him like, I think we end up on like a news report that says Buddy the Elf was like taken away and like and dead somewhere in the street. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it could go really well and then really bad.
It runs out into the street and gets hit by a truck.
Yeah. Which he'd probably survived for some weird ass reason.
Yeah.
Sterling Archer.
Single me idolized Archer. When I was in college and Archer first came out, I was 100% on board with Archer. Like
phrasing.
I envied his life.
It does seem super fun, doesn't it?
Single me would have been. I would have taken the Archer lifestyle in a heartbeat. Now I think back on it. No, just like my liver hurts thinking about how Archer drinks.
Oh god, this next one's gonna. What you got?
I'm still single, so I'm down for it.
Rick Sanchez.
I don't know much about Rick and Morty. I've only seen a few episodes. I'm going to go with no. Just because I feel like it would be dangerous for me.
Yes.
But I'm thinking like intergalactic, interdimensional, like different reality, like alcohol that you'll never get. Like there's one episode where he found the best ice cream in the multiverse. So I'm thinking like the best beer in the multiverse. But with that said, it's also one of the worst places in the world because it's got 11 9/11s and telepathic spiders.
Yeah, see, that's just... The best ice cream in the multiverse is not worth...
I don't know, man. I've had some pistachio ice cream that might have been worth it.
I don't know. Not for me. No, I'm a pass.
It depends on how well or how long me and Rick have known each other. Because if we're just getting to know each other, chances are he'll let me die if things go wrong.
That's also true.
But anytime he runs across people that he has history with, he tends to look out for them.
Norm Peters from Cheers. Norm and Cliff from Cheers, I should say.
I would say yes, but again, under the stipulation that it's like a Cheers scenario. Like it's my usual hangout. I go there every Thursday night. They're there. They're my bar buddies. We just watch the game. We're just chilling. Maybe get some weird facts.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not gonna call them up and be like, "Dude, like,
let's go on a bender.
It's going to Bender. It's my bachelor party." You know, that's
yeah. They don't seem like super fun, like bachelor party kind of like guys.
No, but like going in after work, you can have a burger and a beer at the bar.
It's like the exact opposite of like Buddy the Elf.
Yes.
Right, exactly.
Polar opposite.
I don't watch this show, not out of disdain or anything. I'm way too far gone. Tyrion Lannister. Tyrion Lannister, excuse me.
Yes.
I would drink with Tyrion.
He knows drinking games. He knows how to hold a conversation.
They do drinking games in Game of Thrones?
Oh, yeah.
You would like Tyrion.
I got through the first 8 episodes and that prince annoyed me so much that I cut it off. Like, I just wanted him to die.
Oh, I'm surprised you made it 8 episodes and didn't want to continue. Usually it only takes people 3 to maybe 6 episodes to get into Game of Thrones.
Yeah, 3 of it. Like, no, I was in the end of episode 1 where Cersei pushed that little boy, or her brother pushed that little boy off there. I was like, oh, this is what we're doing? I'm I'm all in. But it's like, that prince is so fucking annoying that I was just like, I wanted to kick him in the face. I was like, nah, can't do it. And everyone goes, but he had such a heart. I'm like, that death isn't good. You can't poison him and that's a good enough death. Nah. Like, I need him pushed off a roof.
Well, have you watched that scene?
No.
As like a YouTube clip or anything?
No.
Put it this way: when that scene happened, my father called me, and we were on the phone together, like two high school girls who were talking about getting their first kiss or something. We were so excited on the phone that my mom, who had never watched an episode of Game of Thrones, considered watching it and power watched 4 seasons, 4 or 5 seasons in 2 weeks.
That's dedication. I'm going to start it up again. Maria hasn't watched this season, but she loves the show, and everyone's shocked that she watches it and I don't. But I think it's a combination of like hating that kid so much, hating the character so much. Because I know people who actually hate the kid, which is fucking weird.
I get that there are things about Game of Thrones that would turn you off. I can see that because there are some very annoying characters, some very annoying scenarios, and some very annoying like plot twists.
So let's put a hold on that because I want. We'll talk. We can actually add Game of Thrones to the list, and we can get back to that. We got to do a whole episode on it if you guys want. Thor, not the MCU Thor, like the comic book Thor.
I'm going to also say no for the same reasons as Hercules.
See, I'm the exact opposite. I think Thor would respects the idea of marriage, so he knows like he wouldn't get you too shit faced. Like if he knows for example, he would know that like Maria would be okay with me coming home shit faced because I'm not gonna do anything. Like if I'm a happy drunk, he's like, drink, be merry. But if I'm angry, he'd probably be like,
put you in check.
Yeah, exactly.
That's actually a good point. And I think back to Age of Ultron when Stan Lee gets drunk. When he's drinking with him, and then he's like, "All right," he's like, "All right, guys." He's like, "All right, guys, like take your drunk buddy home. Like, be safe."
Excelsior. What else we got? Randy Marsh.
No.
Look at that. That's a definite no for both of us.
That's a definite no.
I'm assuming
Randy's just sloppy.
I'm gonna guess this next one is probably a no as well. Frank Gallagher.
No. Same reasons as Randy.
No.
Jack Donaghy.
That's from 30 Rock?
Yes.
I never watched 30 Rock.
Before my time.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on. Fiona Gallagher. Single Mark says yes. Married Mark says no.
Yeah. I feel like there's the potential for with her like getting into some trouble.
Yeah.
So if you're single, it doesn't matter. If you're in a relationship,
best not.
Yeah, best not. Just avoid that temptation.
Also, and I've said this on another show. I fully expect the actress to play her to be the next Jessica Jones.
She can pull it off.
Deadpool.
Yes. Similar Buddy the Elf situation.
No, because I feel like he could just easily like leave me somewhere or kill me or
Stop.
trade me for some ridiculous reason. Yeah, Deadpool's too unpredictable.
It's like a cross between Buddy the Elf and Rick Sanchez.
No.
You get the danger of Rick's life.
No, that's
all the funness of Buddy
that's
the
too
Elf.
much for me. I like to still kind of have like a controlled environment, and I wouldn't be able to handle Deadpool.
I want to have a goofy off with him. So, Jessica Jones.
No.
I think
she drinks to forget.
I think it would be too depressing.
I'm not trying to wallow.
I like wallowing. I'm a wallower.
Well, taking away your affections for Jessica Jones, would your answer still be yes?
Yes. I you know what it is? Because I get her. I understand like the I have a therapist, it's called Whiskey. But I also know that like, if I just need someone to be next to me when I'm drinking and not say anything, she's absolutely perfect. If I need to just drink and bitch and complain, she's perfect. If I'm looking to like party, no.
See, but that's what
Jessica Jones Killmonger. Kilgrave, yes.
See, but that's where I put Logan. That's where I put Wolverine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In addition to being able to say, like, here are the best bars. Here are the best... But also you could have just as good of a time with Logan, you know, sitting under a tree in a park, drinking, you know, some cheap whiskey out of a paper bag.
That's also very true. Who else? I'm going to guess you guys both say no to this. Ron Burgundy?
I would say yes.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I would say yes.
I enjoy Ron.
Just for the stories that would come out of...
I never even thought about that.
It'd have to be a chill session.
No, I wouldn't even say chill. Like, I would go drinking with him at one of his, like, infamous house parties. Just so that we, like, later on I could be like, guys, you remember that crazy party when Ron, you know, had a tiger?
Yeah. Valkyrie.
Yes. Similar situation to Thor.
I would say, I'm going to say no. For the reason that I would want to. For the same reasons as Fiona Gallagher.
Okay. I dig that.
I think she would be too much of a temptation for me. So I would want to drink with her in the hopes that we would both get drunk and something would happen. So in order... Married, Ned says no.
Worf.
Yes. Kepler.
I'm not a Star Wars guy, but I would still. But again, it's
Star Trek.
Yeah, it's not Star.
I'm leaving.
I'm not a Star Trek guy.
Goodbye, everybody.
And it's funny because I have Next Generation in my head too. The theme song's playing in my head, but I'm not a Star Trek guy. But again, it's Worf. You gotta pick Worf, I think.
Got it.
Worf has always been my favorite Star Trek character. So he's.
I'm a Data guy.
I like Data too. I always enjoy episodes about Klingons, and I enjoy episodes about Data. But I learned something new recently, that the evolution of the Klingon Empire, like on the show, was totally given to Michael Dorn.
Really? So that's all. That's his baby.
So the way that the Empire evolved from like the original series, where they were kind of like, you know, just like these bad guys that were fighting Kirk, to this society that was based off of kind of like Japanese samurai culture, kind of like on honor and fighting and warrior classes and everything else, all given to Michael Dorn and his discretion to develop everything. So all of like that Klingon like mythology and code of honor and everything,
that was all him.
All him.
I can do
so, just, you know.
Facts.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess. Okay, you know what I'm gonna guess? John Constantine. This falls under the Rick and Archer.
I'm gonna go with no on Constantine, because I feel like it would be kind of like sad and depressing, and potentially dangerous.
Yep.
Get sucked into a portal, possessed by a demon. I mean, I totally see him being like drunk and being like, "Hey, you want to see something really cool? Go open that box over there."
Maria said, torn because I feel like it would be okay at first, but would be a total bummer real quick. Superwoke said, nope, next thing you know, he sold your soul to the devil in order to save Superman's second cousin.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus.
Like, Jesus?
Like
Walking Dead Jesus?
No, like Jesus. Like...
I'm going to go with no.
So we just got like a jug of water?
Glad you said that. So Harvey goes, imagine the scenario. Hey, Jesus, I wanted to go to the bar, but all I have is $4.99. Jesus looks at a 24-pack of water bottles. Don't worry, my son. The turn-up commences.
Yeah. I mean, he would be great to have at a party.
Yeah.
But...
Nah, I'd sit and drink with Jesus. I'd party with Jesus. I want to get to know him.
Yeah, but does Jesus...
I also want to get to know drunk Jesus.
But does Jesus party? I mean, that's the thing. Like,
we're going to find out.
Jesus parties.
Find out.
Are you kidding me? The whole Bible seems like him just partying. That's like all he does.
He did what he wanted. He traveled. He had a clique. He had an entourage.
Yeah.
That's all he did.
But I mean, then he preached the whole time. Do you want to sit through preaching?
okay. Here's the other thing about
all the greats preach.
That's the other thing.
They talk their own game.
Comedians are nothing but preachers. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And who knows what his preaching really sounds like? Some other dude wrote his stories.
Now,
so he could have been there talking about, do you see this shit?
True. Now, I'm a pretty religious person.
I did not know that.
It's not something that I'm very open about or show, because I believe that people's faith and choice in religion is their own. So it's not something like, you're not going to catch me out there preaching the good word or citing Bible verses on the train or whatever. But I'm a pretty religious person, and I find religious preaching to be a huge drain and a huge source of annoyance. It's like, I get it, like your own faith might say go out and spread the good word. Fine. But things like religious missions through the histories where, pilgrims went to quote unquote undeveloped countries and set up a church and tried to convert everybody to Christianity.
Like the dude who got shot with a bunch of arrows earlier last year?
I'm sorry, zero remorse, zero sympathy for that guy, because he brought that on himself. And I wouldn't want to be out trying to have a good time and then be having to listen to Jesus talk about,
Oh my God! You just made Jesus sound like a
be kind to your neighbor, and he who is without sin cast the first stone.
How they called? What do you call them? The salesman was like, "Oh, come to this meeting and we'll get you a free." You made Jesus sound like a guy selling timeshares.
Yeah,
Terrible.
Don't get me wrong. Like, I believe in him, and I think
preaching is one thing. You don't want to hear anybody ramble at a party or nothing.
Every party he goes to in the Bible involves him preaching.
Well, because that's what everybody came to see. They're all like, "Hey, did you hear there's going to be a party in the next town over?"
I don't
really. Who going to be there? Jesus?
I don't want to hear it. Don't talk to me about religion.
But
moving on.
Tell me this: if we were just sitting here, it was just you and Jesus, a couple of drinks, you wouldn't just sit there and
I wouldn't mind, but you know what?
No, because my level of religion, if Jesus was sitting here with us right now, I would be so nervous that I probably wouldn't even drink the water, just in case he turned it to wine while I was drinking, so he didn't see me drink alcohol in front of him.
But he drinks wine. Like, that's his.
I know he does, but I would be so
starstruck.
Not starstruck. I would just be like so beside myself. I would just be so like, what do I do? Like, I probably wouldn't even talk. I would just be like.
It sounds like you'd be more starstruck than anything else. It sounds like you'd be in awe of like who he was. And also, let me just point out that Jesus is not a fictional character. Jesus was actually a person. Whether or not he was the son of God, that's a debatable one. I just want to throw that out there. I'm shocked no one picked up on that, though, by the way. We can talk about this later. Pam Poovey. Who? Pam Archer.
Oh.
I'm going to say yes. Because, believe it or not, out of all of the characters on Archer, Pam is who I have the biggest crush on.
I bet you she has the best sex out of everybody there.
Mm-hmm. Archer says it.
Yeah. What if they were in space?
Archer smuggles her to space because of it.
Which is the funniest shit ever.
Crazy, go!
She was fine as wine when she was on crack.
I thought she would look better when she was bigger.
You thought so?
Yeah.
Well, that's your deal.
What? Everyone saying that? That's not my deal. Everyone says that shit. Star-Lord, Cinematic Universe. I got a bunch of no's because of what he did in Avengers Infinity War. Like, they feel like they couldn't get over that.
Well, I think short periods. I feel like Quill would not be my go-to. But if you ran into him at a bar you would be happy.
Yeah,
If I
but he's
read
not
it-
someone you plan to drink.
But I wouldn't be like, dude, like let's.
He seems to have a lot of enemies, so if we were out together, good chances we're going to get into some fights. Because he owes somebody money.
That's a good point,
or
too.
he stole someone's girl.
All right, now here's a question for you. What if you had superpowers when this happened? What if you were in space with superpowers? Could you drink with Star-Lord?
Yeah, no, I'd still drink with him regardless. I just have to be wary of any issues he has outstanding.
Could you drink with Jesus and Star-Lord at the same time?
No, those would be two very different conversations.
All right, so we got two more. Jason Todd. I'm going with a definite yes with Jason Todd. I completely understand Jason Todd, and I would love to sit and get shit-faced with Jason Todd.
He's a cool dude.
I
I'm
would
liking
be.
his current run.
I would be wary.
But see, there's something about
It'd
it.
be a similar Star-Lord situation where
But no one
people
knows who
gonna
he is,
come
though.
find him.
No one knows who he is, though.
A lot of people do.
Really?
Or at least recently, yeah. He's got a lot of people coming after him.
And no one's put two and two together with him and Batman?
Oh, Batman could be anybody.
But, never mind. Never mind.
Actually, touching on that, just a quick tangent.
If you're going to spoil anything from Red Hood that's happened in the last... Okay.
Deathstroke. Do you read Deathstroke at all?
You put me on to one of the Deathstrokes. Was it Rebirth or was it New 52?
Rebirth.
I gotta finish Rebirth. I did.
Right? Rebirth?
Yeah, Rebirth is the most.
I got
Oh,
him.
that was
I got him.
2016.
They went from him to me to you.
Okay, so I liked Deathstroke Rebirth. Mm-hmm. I started New 52 Deathstroke. I don't really like it. But I'm not sure. It's not the character. I think it's the writer. I just think I'm not a fan of how the person's the way the
Been
story is
portraying
going.
him.
Yeah, it's not even just the way. Well, that too, because you know he's a scumbag, but you don't know how much of a scumbag is.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that thing with him and Tara in the comic books is super fucking creepy.
Yeah,
It's always
it's
been
always had
creepy.
a lot of debate whether it
Even-
was actually happened, if it was
She
suggested.
was naked in bed smoking a cigarette.
Even in the Teen Titans cartoon, it was creepy.
I see. This is how I found out about it. I was watching. There's a Teen Titans cartoon. It might have been Judas Contract. Mm-hmm. It was on not Amazon, Hulu.
Yep.
So I'm watching that, and I'm like, okay. So, and I'm looking at their relationship. I'm like, well, this is gross. Now, granted, they didn't do anything, but to me, it looked gross.
Oh no, it definitely looked gross.
So I posted on Facebook, which I try to stay off as much as possible now. I go in there and promote, I get the fuck off. But I posted, watching Judas Contract, that the relationship between Deathstroke and Tara is super fucking creepy.
I remember that post.
And someone
had
got
a lot of comments on that.
People got all in their feelings. I'm like, I didn't say he raped her or had sex with her. I just said it was creepy.
It was creepy.
And then, and this is the best thing ever. So someone else posted it on their page, and people just went on a tirade about how wrong this dude was, posting comments after comments and pictures after pictures of this isn't creepy, this isn't creepy. Dude, it's fucking creepy. I don't want a naked teenager in my bed. That's fucking gross. You're an old man.
He is an old man.
I mean, the good thing about that animated film, Judas Contract, was that they tried their best to portray Deathstroke as not being interested in her.
Yes.
He definitely was exploiting her.
Absolutely.
And playing to her emotions, but as soon as she tried making moves on him, he shut that down really quick. And I'm willing to bet that's due to the controversy of his comic adaptation. Probably the same reason why they didn't go with Hank Pym as the primary Ant-Man.
Right.
Because of his abusive history.
Right.
I don't know what the fuck that was.
Language.
Language.
Last but not least, Dean Winchester.
Yeah.
I don't watch Supernatural, so I can't comment on the characters.
Well, good news is the last season of the show is next season.
Yep.
So you'll have 15 seasons to watch.
He voiced Jason Todd in Under the Red Hood.
He actually cosplays that of
Yeah, he cosplays. Yeah, that was a great cosplay.
Yep.
I look at him like, so why haven't you guys just cast him to do it yet? He's got the voice. He's got the gruff voice. He doesn't necessarily have to be young Jason Todd, since they already went with old Bruce Wayne.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean? So, that's what it is. Alright, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back with a spoiler-filled version of the Avengers Endgame. Avengers Endgame. That thing. One. Oops. And we're back. The Old Man Wade podcast. Hey, don't forget to check out my other podcast, The Culture Comic Book News, a Black Rabbit powered podcast. You can find Black Rabbit at BLAQUERABBIT. Also, don't forget to check out oldmanwade.com. It's exactly like it sounds. OLDMANWADE.com. Articles are up. There'll be more coming weekly, if not more per week. Back episodes. We're doing a thing where every week we put up older episodes. Except this week because we're super professional. Yeah. So don't forget to check that out. Do either of you guys have anything to promote?
No.
Love, peace, and happiness.
No.
Sure.
Sure. Okay.
All right, so let's get right into it. So Ned hit me up. It asked me when I was doing a Avengers Endgame episode. You were here for the Infinity War spoiler-filled episode.
I was here for Bury Me and Snoo Snoo.
No, but you did we talked about the Peter Quill thing and all that. So it started
way back in Bury Me and Snoo Snoo. How we got on Peter Quill?
I think it started with me with my "Go Fuck Yourself" award, and I gave it to Peter Quill.
That's what it was. Yeah.
So this might just be a thing whenever a Marvel movie, a comic book movie comes out. I might just bring you on to talk about your grievances and things you did and you didn't like.
More than happy to be here.
All right. So did you guys enjoy the movie?
Yes.
All right. As everyone who made that? Whoever did this.
Somebody had too much time on their hands.
Whoever did that.
But I'm glad they did.
They deserve an award. Movie made all the money.
Sorry, number 2.
Yeah.
It's number 2.
In 2 weeks.
Yes, very close to overtaking number 1.
Someone needs to overtake that trash-ass movie.
Yeah, agreed.
So with that said, before we get into the actual movie, do you think it'll actually take the number 1 spot?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
My only concern is there are a lot of movies coming out this month.
Agreed. This is a big year for movies.
Detective Pikachu, I think, is today. If I'm not mistaken.
Today, yep.
Next week is John Wick. After that is Aladdin.
I don't know if Aladdin has as much traction as people think it has.
I kind of agree.
People seem to be really on the fence about it.
But Disney's track record with their live-action adaptations haven't been too bad. Even Dumbo did pretty well, and that kind of flew in under the radar.
Dumbo did well?
I didn't even know that was out.
Last I checked with it. Yeah, it came out in
God.
March.
Do you know who did that movie? Fucking Tim Burton did Dumbo. As if that movie wasn't depressing and gothic enough. They were like, Disney's like, you know what? I want to redo Dumbo. Who should we get to direct this movie? And someone raised their hand and was like, Tim Burton?
That explains why the previews were so dark.
Yeah, I got nothing, man. It was like it just seemed.
I don't know. My coworker, she took her grandkids to see it and said they all loved it. So maybe the previews threw it off.
Maybe. I don't know. I'll wait for it until it's free on TV.
There you go.
I'll watch it then.
I'll Redbox it for $1.
I won't even pay that.
All right, so you guys think it'll take the number 1 spot?
I think so. Yeah, without a doubt.
Before we get into what we loved about the movie, is there anything you didn't like about it?
Didn't like about it. I mean, I have some grievances about the overall movie and stuff, which is why I reached out to you in the first place.
All right, let me have it.
So, I think, I mean, Danny and I have discussed this a little bit here and there, But is the MC? Here's my main question: is the MCU Universe 616?
No. The MC Universe, and I'm mad I know this, is Universe 1999999.
Okay.
So I'm mad I know this. You know I write comic book articles, so I know that off the top of my head, which is sad, but...
So that can explain away most of my grievances that I have with some of the things that went wrong. Now, I mean, I think there were a lot of, like, logistical errors.
Such as?
That the characters made, like Thanos and the Avengers, with their snaps.
Yeah.
That led to, like, a lot of, or could potentially lead to a lot of problems. However, without their given choices, there wouldn't have been Avengers Endgame. Like, it would have ended with Infinity War.
Yeah.
So
why not lead with what you're talking about in the car about Thanos' first snap?
So I waited to reach out to discuss this until I saw Endgame to see if they answered this. But yes,
I'm so sorry.
yes, Thanos. Everybody knows Thanos snaps.
Yes. For those who don't know, his whole deal was balancing the universe. He saw his planet Titan, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Titan.
Ravaged by overpopulation,
scarce resources.
Yes.
Technically, Titan is a moon of Saturn, where Thanos is born and raised.
Okay, so he's raised on the moon off of. Okay.
Really?
So,
Technically speaking, in Thanos's like life, because what is it? There's the Eternals, right?
yes.
And then
Isn't he an Eternal? But he's like he's like the mutant of the Eternals.
he's like a grandson of the Eternals.
Okay.
Because right, there's the Eternals, and then there's like another, like the children level of the Eternals, and then Thanos is like the grandchild level of the Eternals.
And one of his brother is.
But he is a. You're right. He is a mutant of like the Eternal family.
I can't take credit for it. That was all Javi. Javi explained that like to me the best. So his whole thing was like he wanted everyone to have the things he didn't have. He wanted everyone to have all the resources they didn't have, and he figured the best way to do it was to cut the universe in half. So he went from galaxy to galaxy,
Planet to planet,
killing off half the people.
Correct.
Now,
in this adaptation,
in the comic books, he was just like, "Death, I love you."
right. So that was my question: was what was his true motivation?
His true motivation was
to bring balance to the universe. He wanted to save the universe.
So here's a funny conversation. This is why I wanted to bring this up. So I was talking to my wife, and she said she didn't agree because he didn't kill off all the shitbags. He killed off everybody indiscriminately. And I said, yeah, that's balance. You can't just get rid of.
I agreed with you. I listened to that episode.
Oh, so I did talk about that. Okay.
And I agreed with you full-heartedly. Is that he wasn't out to eliminate evil or good or murderers or rapists or whatever. He was out just to bring balance to the universe, and not just so much balance, but just
kicking some people out the club. He was
right
to competitive.
Closing time.
He didn't care if they were good or bad. He just wanted to bring it down. But so he eliminates, and they say it several times, especially in Endgame. He snaps out of existence half of all life, right?
Yes. Are you going to get into the whole thing about it, like plant life, animal life?
That's what he's saying.
So, right then and there, like Thanos' whole idea of overpopulation and not having enough resources for sentient life is negated.
All right.
By him, if you have half the number of cows and chickens and half the number of people, it's still the same ratio of people to cows and chickens.
All right. Allow me to say this. My assumption would be, and this is just right off the top of my head, so the Infinity Stones work on a different level than we can perceive. And yes, it's going to be really dorky, so get over it. So my thought process was, he must be eliminating, I don't want to say sentient life, because even like germs are sentient, to an extent, I guess. So my thought process was, he must be eliminating half of
Humanoid.
I wouldn't even say humanoids, because Steve Rogers brought up, maybe it is humanoid, because Steve Rogers brought up a point that without a lot of ships and stuff in the ocean, he saw whales.
Right.
You know what I mean? So maybe he's not. So maybe he is getting rid of like whales, but he's not getting rid of, what is it? They eat krill that they eat, or plant? Is it krill they eat?
Krill.
So
well,
maybe
some whales.
Yeah. So maybe he wasn't getting rid of krill, but he was getting rid of half of the whale population that needed to be called, because you would assume that like it would go through what happened in his mind, and since it's at the speed of thought, it could happen in less than a second. So then it can go from there. And again, this is me pulling at strings here. You know what I mean?
See, I would agree with you, and I think that's the way that they kind of wanted people to think about it.
Yes.
But they say several times all life. And I couldn't re-find it, but there was like an article on like the Nerdist or something that said that the Russos confirmed that Thanos wiped out half of all life, and that included animals and plants. Danny, you said it in the car that was kind of supported when they re-snapped. When the Avengers snapped,
In the birds.
As far as animals,
and they saw the birds.
As far as animals go, yeah,
That's the first thing I thought about.
We didn't see any animals really throughout the entire.
There were no
film.
animals.
Not even a
in
stray
the-
dog.
No.
Right. Or a bird.
But at the very end, yeah, Ant-Man sees some birds. Works as a good sign. Hawkeye gets a call from his missus. That's a good sign.
I'm wondering how many people caught the bird thing, because that was the first thing I noticed. I was like, because it got silent. I'm like, did it work? Then I heard the birds chirping. I was like, all right, that was a nice added touch there.
Yeah.
And then it was like, all right, for the people who didn't catch on what they were doing, like you said, Hawkeye's wife called. Excuse me, Ronan's wife called.
Yeah.
Right. Mohawk.
I mean,
It's a mohawk.
But it's like, I personally, I wouldn't consider plants to be all life. I mean, granted, yes, they do produce fruits, veggies, things of that nature. But if just based off of the film alone, we didn't see or hear of any evidence to support that plant life or crops got decimated as a result of the snap. They might have been as a result of farmers getting snapped away, but...
Right. So, I mean, I'm just going off of the fact that they say, and they state several times, all life. I wish I could have found it again, but supposedly the Russos confirmed that it was, in fact, all life, including plants and animals. So, if that is, in fact, true, then Thanos didn't solve any problems with overpopulation. He just solved problems in space that was available for people and plants and animals. Now, granted, nature will always find a way, and I mean, I just watched a short documentary on Chernobyl, which says,
dear God.
which said that
I don't want to see what your Netflix history looks like.
well, they had said that Chernobyl would be uninhabitable for hundreds and hundreds of years.
All right, so that bugged me, because I thought when you had like radiation testing, it was supposed to take like 1,000 years for it to.
But Chernobyl is thriving. The entire city has been taken over by plant matter, and there are higher concentrations of animals in Chernobyl than there are in other areas, and that's because of the lack of humans there. However, most plants and animals also have a higher rate of mutation. So, there is still something to that, but nature will always find a way. So, I get that if with Thanos' initial snap, he eliminated half of all life, sentient life, animals, plants, it wouldn't take very long for plant and animal populations to recover.
That's also true. But maybe that was part of the thing. If it's not going to take a while for plant life to repopulate, or as you said, nature will find a way, maybe that's something he knew. Because eventually, like, it's easy to regrow plants. I wouldn't say maybe not a tree, like an orange tree or something like that, but if you already have an orange tree, you can grow more oranges.
Right.
If you have a vineyard, you can, like, grapes, wine. I know wine isn't something you eat for, like, sustenance, but, like, there are ways you can regrow things that you can need to sustain life.
True.
Chickens will keep laying eggs. Cows will keep having calves,
right.
So on and so forth. So I would assume the same thing would go with the plant life and meat of the universe.
Right.
So essentially,
I mean, first 20 minutes, Thanos has been gone for like 2 months, and he's already got a full-on farm going, plucking some crops, getting a stew on, seasoning.
they came in and
he
had busted right in.
I saw this meme that said even Thanos uses seasoning.
He does.
He was going with it. He was like, "Yep, smell it, taste it."
I'm not gonna lie. I almost thought he was gonna do one of those. What's that guy called? Salt Bay?
Oh yeah,
or whatever. I thought for sure they were gonna throw that in. He was just gonna be
raise that, flex that elbow,
and toss the salt in. But
I wonder if they did that specifically because of the meme of him with the gems doing this.
He's sprinkling the
Which
gems.
is actually your picture on my phone. So when you call, it's a picture of Thanos with the glasses and the gems going.
Nice.
All right, so that was your grievance. Do you have any grievances?
Not too much. Like it took me a minute to reorganize the timeline and how everything was flowing.
Yeah.
But after like hashing it out with my friends that I watched it with and everything, like I felt pretty satisfied with the film as a whole.
Okay. So now let's get into the good shit. Does it satisfy everything that happened from the moment Tony Stark said, "I am Iron Man," to the end of him saying,
Yes.
"I am Iron Man"?
Yes.
So everything. So you were happy with everything that started and how it ended.
They were able to close it up fairly neatly, I thought. In that, for me at least, if they never made another Marvel movie,
Yes.
I feel like I got complete closure and satisfaction out of the entire storyline that went through everyone's individual stories.
I agree. That's the first thing.
If they never made another one, I wouldn't be upset.
Okay.
I mean, I want more.
Yeah.
Marvel, if you're listening, please keep making more. Or I should say Disney. Keep making more. But, I mean, I think they went into it with a full idea, and they closed it nice and neat.
It was a solid saga.
Yeah.
Infinity War kind of pissed me off a little bit with Black Panther getting dusted. When it was just 2 months prior, he finally came onto the scene, took the throne, getting used to his role.
They didn't expect this movie to be as big as it was.
No. Or at least, like, if he got dusted, I would have liked his sister Shuri to have stepped up or had something going on.
She would have figured it out within a year. She would have refigured everything out within a year. Like, so I understand why you have... And maybe with, again, back to the snap, maybe within, like, his mind, it's like, let's try to get rid of... well, he would have got rid of Tony Stark, too, then. But,
He didn't have a strategy in selecting who got snapped.
Yes. So, again...
He was just like, fulfill my dream.
Yeah, and that's what happened. And thinking about everything that happened,
also,
everyone who was snapped, Shuri probably would have been the most motivated to set everything back. Black Panther might have looked around and went, I'm kind of with this.
Yeah.
However, given given the situation that Thanos was in when he snapped, it makes sense why his snap might have been as crude as it was.
Yes.
Half of all life.
With an axe in your chest.
He had an axe in his chest. The Avengers were coming down on him. He was losing the battle. Like, his forces were being overrun. Like, it was here, then, and now. Given if he was in his own throne room with the Infinity Gauntlet and the Infinity Stones and had nobody coming on him, no pressure, nothing, and he could just... Phrasing?
Phrasing?
Yeah.
I was thinking, I was like, wait, which one do I go with?
He might have been able to make a better snap kind of wish.
Yes.
In that maybe he eliminated half of all, sentient kind of life, overpopulation kind of life.
Actually being able to, like, and it's funny because with
As
that,
opposed to eliminating half of, like, endangered species.
and it's funny because he has the patience of a saint. He probably could have, like, snapped and then, like, froze time and then just been like, and with the Mind Stone probably would have been like, all the people who would have opposed me, you're gone. Anybody else who understands this, you stay. Anybody who's going to hurt the universe, you're gone. Anyone who's going to help the universe progress, you stay.
Right.
But like you said, you got a giant fucking axe in your chest.
Right.
And it's like, I got a
can't
second.
make all of that.
Yeah, I got to take care of this now because these
half of
Avengers
it.
are whooping my ass.
Half the Avengers, all of them. Go. I loved the scene where he goes, before I wasn't gonna take pleasure out of this.
Yep.
But what did he say? Like, but now I'm gonna enjoy this.
Now I'm going to enjoy this.
I am the inevitable. I was like, God damn, that was a good line.
Yeah.
It was.
My wife's favorite part of this, and I wish she was here to talk about this. The big Thorbowski.
Big old Thor.
Thor looked like me.
But you know what? We were discussing that on the way over.
Yeah, I had seen a Snapchat IGN video article of the Russo brothers commenting on Fat Thor.
Yeah.
That's how he's trending as. And like it was a lot of body positivity and molding how each Avenger was processing grief and
Thank
loss.
you. You
in
heard the
different
episode we
ways.
talked about that because,
Yeah.
like,
You know,
It was-
Hawkeye went on a killing spree.
got a bunch
vigilante.
of tattoos, like
Oh, yeah.
changed the way he looked.
Yeah, he went for the grunge,
Yeah.
Romanoff grew her hair out, took a leadership role. Cap went to
But a
support
reclusive
groups.
leadership role.
Reclusive, yeah.
Yes.
They don't state it, but Romanoff, she didn't leave that Avengers facility.
No.
You can tell by her hygiene. You can tell by the clothes that she's wearing. You can tell by the food that she's eating that she is clearly extremely depressed. Yet she's still able to hold it together to run what's left of the Avengers and coordinate everything.
That's all
But
she got.
she did not leave that facility for years.
I wouldn't be shocked if Brody never left the Iron Man as a War Machine armor.
Right.
He probably, like, people like him, and like I said, Romanoff, they probably buried themselves in work.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't be like Okoye. I'm pretty
She was running.
like, yeah, she had to run the country, like the country. Yeah, she had to run the country.
Yep.
Like, what else do you do at that point? It's like, all right, well, there's nothing else I can do, so I might as well just bury myself in work.
It was the first. How long was it? The first 20 minutes, first maybe hour
It was
of
like
the
the
movie.
first hour was just them.
There's a lot of lessons
Getting
that
that
can be
grip.
taken out in terms of mental health, grief, processing.
And it's funny, there was a lot of people going, oh, they were fat shaming. I'm like, they weren't fat shaming.
No,
They
That's
were,
celebration.
I never saw any.
His weight was never the problem.
No,
and
it
that's
was
what
the-
they commented on. It was like Thor was worthy. As soon as he grabbed his hammer,
Yeah.
That was
he got a
that was
calmness to him.
probably my favorite scene in the entire movie. I posted something on Facebook stating that something about. I think it said that it doesn't matter. No, your level of depression doesn't mean that you're unworthy.
Yep.
Or something to that effect. And that scene with Thor there, should be, highlighted and championed. He's spent 5 years in a deep, dark, terrible depression that totally destroyed his life. And one conversation with his mother and just putting his hand out,
reaching out, taking a chance,
totally rejuvenated him.
I gotta say though, that was one of the many moments in that movie where I felt myself like tearing up, because everything that Thor, because it's not even just what happened in Endgame. If you go back to what happened in the first Thor movie, he went through more grief than any of the other Avengers in that time period, because stuff that Black Widow went through is on a whole nother level. But if you take it down, first thing that happened, his brother betrays him. Right. His father kicks him out of Asgard. Yeah. He's not worthy of his hammer.
Yeah. That's his whole way of life.
Yeah,
gone.
Just destroyed. That's one movie. Then you have
Dark World.
Before that, Avengers, where now he's trying to incorporate everything he knows of being mortal on top of everything that he's known in Asgard, and there's this conflict of what's right and what's wrong. Then you have Dark World, and he loses his mother, something he probably felt he could have prevented if he was in the right place at the right time.
His brother. He thinks he lost Loki.
Yeah, he thinks he lost Loki. Then you get Age of Ultron, where he gets this vision of dark times coming, of the Ragnarok approaching, and he's what the, so he has to leave his friends to go embark on that.
Yep.
Then he gets back and finds out that his brother was alive this whole time, and his father dies. Finds out his father's a liar. Finds out his sister loses his hammer.
Sister breaks his toy.
Then there's the self-doubt of I'm nothing without my hammer.
Yep.
Has to fight his friend.
Loses his hair.
Loses.
What does that mean to Stanley? May he rest in peace.
Yeah. You know what's funny about
that? That was the funniest scene to me in that movie.
Please.
Yeah, please, sir, do not cut my hair.
But I gotta say though, he looks better without the hair.
Yeah, he looks better short hair.
And it doesn't even end. So then it doesn't even end there in that movie.
Loses his eye.
Loses
his home.
Yeah, he had to make the conscious decision to sacrifice his home.
Yep, he did.
You know what I mean? And then Thanos shows up, kills half of the Asgardians, beats the shit out of him, has to watch as he sends his friend to go attack him. Thor's beaten down. His best friend probably one of his best friends is killed in front of him. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And embarks on this journey to get a new hammer, a new weapon to kill Thanos. A weapon strong enough to take the power of the Infinity Gauntlet and all 6 stones. Mm-hmm. Has a chance to kill him, and then doesn't. And then he thinks that chopping his the world's dispatcher's head off is going to solve anything, and it does nothing for him. So yes, after all that, I can understand someone becoming a recluse and an alcoholic and just going, I'm never leaving my house, I'm going to sit here and drink, and the only time I'm leaving is to go get supplies.
Yeah.
From the...
More beer and cheese whiz.
Yeah. I get it.
I totally get it. Yeah. I totally understand.
It was a very human reaction.
Him kind of sneakily scurrying through the palace in Asgard to try to avoid everybody, and then running into his mother and trying to cover his big belly and everything and pretend that he's that timeline's Thor.
Yeah.
His mother seeing right through it.
It's I was raised by witches. I know time travel when I see it.
Right. Sees right through it, and the conversation that he has with her is so healing to him. And he didn't go to that timeline with any thought of retrieving his hammer.
Nope. No. It was pretty much just what it was, and it was and I thought it was a nice touch that he got the hammer. And speaking of the hammer, we're all comic book fans here. Yep. So we knew Cap was worthy in Age of Ultron when he even moved it. And we were like...
So that's as though he was not.
You don't think so?
That's why he couldn't lift it.
I think he could.
I think this could go two ways.
I think he could. I think
he could, and he didn't.
Yes.
He realized he could move it, and he didn't to protect Thor.
Exactly. So a buddy of mine, shout out to my buddy Paul, he sent me a picture of he sent me a meme, And he goes, I could have moved your hammer before, but I didn't want to steal your thunder.
Oh,
I was like, that's fucking great. Shout out to Paul. The Multiverse podcast. So Thor, I think, was one of the best parts of that. I know a lot of people didn't like Bruce Banner. I thought he was underutilized, but I honestly understand why he was.
Yeah.
Because I kind of looked at that, I kind of looked at what was going on with him as it was different. All we've known is this big, aggressive Hulk. Now you have this Bruce Banner who has everything he wanted. He always wanted to be stronger physically. Now he's stronger physically on top of being
one of the greatest minds.
Yeah, in the world. Maybe even the galaxy. Mm-hmm. Now sure he's gone. And my wife pointed out that there was a lot of arrogance to him. And it was justified arrogance.
Yep.
Because now he is the total package. And I was kind of... We got a glimpse of the future when Thor pushed him a little bit, and he goes, "Don't do that." Yep. And I was like, "Oh shit, they're about to fight!" And they didn't. But I was like, "Okay."
Well, the reasoning to that is I'd done a little digging into that particular version of Hulk because over the years there's been various personalities, suits, outfits, colors to him.
Yeah, because it's not there's a difference between Brady Hulk. Who's essentially Bruce Banner in the Hulk's body, and then there's World War Hulk, who has a different level of intelligence than Bruce Banner does.
Right. So, the research that I came out with is that this possible Hulk or Banner Hulk is that he gets all the strength and all the intelligence, but if he gets enraged, he actually reverts back to his human Bruce Banner form,
really?
But with the mind and rage of the Hulk.
Are you serious? I didn't know that at all. That's news to me. Wow.
Yep.
Huh. So
which I mean,
it makes sense.
Mark Ruffalo's a decently sized dude, so he could do some Florida Man on bath salts damage. But
did you there's a series in the Marvel universe where the Red Hulk absorbs all of the gamma radiation from Bruce Banner, almost all of it, and Bruce Banner creates a force field that makes him almost as strong as the Hulk. And I forget what I was reading was someone was saying that I forget what comic book character said this, but they were the Hulk never actually killed anybody intentionally, but Bruce Banner is saying that Bruce Banner is more dangerous than the Hulk is.
that's fair.
Processing.
Loading.
Well, it's interesting that you bring this up because one of the grievances that I had about Endgame was how long it took Hulk to recover from the Avengers snap or re-snap or unsnap or whatever we want to call it.
Yeah.
When he brought everyone back.
He brings everybody back, he snaps, and he's injured.
Yeah.
One of Hulk's powers is rapid cellular regeneration.
Yes. I wonder if it's because it's you know as well as we do, as everyone in this room knows, different injuries require different types of healing. You from just a medical background, but so for him, it's not even it's not just physical. There's also the radiation that goes into it, and it's also the cosmic level of injury. So it might take a little bit longer to set a bone if it was injured from radiation and cosmic whatever the fucks.
Right. And I also took into consideration that maybe because he's Banner Hulk, maybe he's not full Hulk.
Yes, because he doesn't have that. And I would assume that
He's on adrenaline.
Yes, exactly. So the rage, like you said, the adrenaline and the rage isn't speeding up the healing. So it could be that. So it could be the more quote unquote human part of him that doesn't heal as fast.
So as a kind of a interesting sub Hulk kind of tangent, in kind of my own research into trying to figure out why it it was taking Hulk so long to recover, I found that one of Hulk's worst injuries that he ever faced was in a battle against a supervillain called Vector.
Vector. Why do I know that name and I don't know it?
Vector was part of a supervillain team called UFOs.
Oh, yes. I know who Vector is now.
So UFOs is kind of like a villain version of the Fantastic Four.
They actually tried to get their powers.
They try to get their powers the same way as the Fantastic Four did. Bruce Banner pulls them out. They go crazy because they think they could have been more powerful, but he really saved their lives. Anyway,
I feel really bad for the woman. Like, her powers are great, but the fact that she can't touch anything is whew.
So they end up with both extremely amazing powers, but also somewhat detrimental powers to themselves. Anyway, Vector has telekinesis, but he can only use telekinesis in the sense of attracting things towards him or repelling things away from him. They get it in their minds that they need to destroy the Hulk and become like popular heroes and icons in the eyes of the world.
Which in itself, wanting to be a hero and going out to do it is selfish in itself, which is a very villain thing to do.
Very villain thing to do. So Vector, in one of his battles with Hulk, he flays Hulk open. Removes all of his skin.
Like willed him from like Buffy? Like bored now type of shit?
Like Hulk has no skin, nothing. All of it is ripped away from him. And Hulk heals in a matter of minutes. So I was using that battle as kind of like a comparison to say like, well, why wasn't this Hulk healing much faster from the snap? That from aside, it was that battle with Vector and the UFOs that revealed to the world that Banner Hulk was like Bruce Banner in Hulk's body.
Yeah.
And it was that battle with Vector that turned Hulk into what I think you and your wife were referring to as douchebag Hulk. You know, the world all of a sudden was introduced to the Incredible Hulk, but with the mind of Bruce Banner.
And it's always the question of, and it was, in the Ultimate Universe, Bruce Banner went to go see I think it was the Dalai Lama. And he asked him a question, do you turn into the Hulk or does the Hulk turn into you? And I was like, oh. So again, like, we would assume that rage monster was in him the whole time. Like the idea of like probably being bullied most of his life, never really being respected. I mean, if you think about it, after he became the Hulk, the only people to really respect him were the Avengers. First thing Cap said to him was, the only thing that matters. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Thor treated him as an equal. Black Widow, their relationship was beyond anything I thought they could write and do. Even Tony Stark.
Yep.
Was kind of like
respected him.
Yeah, he was
his mind.
Yeah, and then was just like
for
but for the monster.
It's like your work on gamma radiation is unparalleled. Zap. Also, how you turn into a giant green rage monster.
Right. Let me tase you to see what happens.
Yeah, just zap and then look at him.
Not even a little shade.
It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Let's get we'll break down the Avengers. So then now we have Cap, who I thought he had a smaller role in this than he had in any of the other movies, but he also had some incredible moments. The Hail Hydra was perfect.
Perfect scene.
Like a nod to
a lot of good plugs.
Yeah, like a nod to the comic books.
Just him walking down the hallway afterwards and smirking to himself.
Yeah.
Was just beautiful. I saw a meme online and it was that scene and it said, when you've played a video game before and you know the cheat codes.
Yes, I did see that.
Yeah. That is America's ass.
That you beat me to it. I was just thinking that because I love that. Is it Tony Stark who asked the question?
Yeah, Tony was on comms watching. He's like, that suit did nothing for your ass, Cap. Paul Rudd is like the biggest supporter I've seen in that entire cast. He's like, what are you talking about? That is America's ass. Don't you worry, Cap. Mr. Rogers, sir. He's Total hype man.
Scott Lang, he was just happy to be part of the crew.
Yeah, he's a fanboy.
He was.
Biggest fanboy.
I see what you did there. Least giant man, the biggest fanboy. And then we got to talk about that moment when he used that hammer. It was like he had been using it his whole life.
Oh yeah, he if he was able to lift Thor's hammer prior, he was definitely sneaking into Thor's room at Avengers compound, taking it out during the middle of the night and getting it down.
Thor's like, "Why is it raining?"
Yeah.
I loved it. And then the moment we had been waiting for since the first Avengers movie, Avengers. I was like,
whispered it.
Yes.
He whispered it. I'm like, what?
As soon as before he even said Avengers,
you knew it was coming.
I sat up in my seat. I was like, he's gonna say it. He's finally gonna say it, and he did.
Yep. Thor busts out that big old battle cry. Everybody gets going.
Oh, that was a beautiful scene.
What I loved about it was
Avengers, assemble!
Oh, that one sucked.
Avengers, assemble!
There we go. So what was cool about that was it was like because everyone knew it was coming, and I liked that he whispered it. It was kind of just like
To himself.
not even just to himself. It was like
It was to us.
yes,
He whispered it to us.
And it was just like, and he was in battle. He was tired. It was just like it was just like let's just fucking do this. Like you know what I mean?
Everybody comes back. He calls the hammer.
No me.
It comes in, and he just takes that moment
Yeah.
to share with the audience.
Fuck, I wonder if I can talk Miranda to go to see this again this weekend.
I mean, the seats are going to start freeing up.
You write me a prescription to go see Avengers Endgame.
For Mark's mental health.
I need to go see Avengers Endgame. But yeah, like, so he didn't have the biggest role, but I thought he had a lot of like the best moments, and
Even his own fight scene with himself.
Yeah, was great. And I love that old him was whooping his ass because Cap hadn't had a real fight in 5 years. So it makes sense that the Steve Rogers from the past...
He was sharp.
Yeah.
He was sharp. He was just coming off of beating the Chitauri.
Yeah.
He was ready to go.
And then like, you're some...
If anything, I would have thought that would have evened the odds for the fight.
No, because look at it like this. You just got into a fight. You saved the world. And then you think some imposters coming in to take away from you, you get that second win. You're like, fuck this.
Yeah, Future Cap hadn't fought anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he was beating up some street thugs here and there.
But maybe he didn't. Because maybe wherever he was, they were like, I'm done. I'm not fighting anybody anymore.
Yeah. Oh, Captain
And plus
America's
he-
on the scene? All right.
You're like, yep, I'm out. And plus, he hadn't used how long had it been since he used the shield?
Right.
Over 5 years. We're talking about stuff that happened before. And what was it? There was something else I was gonna say. Then the end of it, where you realize that Sam Wilson is actually closer to Captain America than
Bucky.
Yeah, and like Bucky kind of knew, and it's funny
He's
because
like, go on.
and it's funny because that ended their quote unquote rivalry, which will probably still continue in
They have their own series.
Yes. So that's going to continue. But you can kind of tell that Bucky looked at him and he probably knew what his friend was going to do. And he knew that this wasn't his moment.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was there for the beginning. You were there for the end. So you need to go do this. So I like that moment.
And, I mean, even taking away all of, like, the emotional aspect of it.
Yeah.
If you're going to out of the two of them, if you're going to have the next Captain America, who is going to be embraced by the American people?
That's the question.
Is it going to be Sam Wilson, who is a decorated war hero?
A black
decorated war hero, sure. Or is it going to be the former U.S. war hero turned Russian assassin?
There's also that.
But
The Hydra agent.
That brings me to another complaint that I have about the movie. Why was Captain America old?
I don't want to talk about that.
Because that's how Earth 19999 works.
Yeah.
My theory on that is that his super soldier serum just brought his body to peak physical form for his age, and then he still gradually aged. He was only in World War II for maybe a couple years, got frozen, got de-thawed, still in his prime.
Here's a good one. Here's another good example for you. One of the things I appreciated the most about the end fight scene in the first Avengers movie was Captain America got hurt.
Yep.
You don't really see a lot of hurt Captain America in the comic books. So, remember that scene where the Destroyer threw a bomb at him and he went through the window and he like got up like, oh, this hurts. Like, you know what I mean? It's moments like that where it's like comic book Captain America just would have like kicked up and like went right back at him, and he's just like, it's a more realistic. The MCU is a more realistic version of the comic books.
Yep.
That's why like Luke Cage throwing a giant tire is impressive when you see it, but in the comic books you're like, I saw him pick a 16-wheeler over his head and then walk it like 6 blocks like it was nothing. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? So I get it. It was a bit bothersome, but I also understand that like it was them ending an era.
Well, my first clue that the MCU was not like Universe 616, that is like our main Marvel universe, was in, what did we say, Winter Soldier? Was in Winter Soldier when Cap and Natasha go into that underground bunker.
Yeah.
And they encounter, what is it, Zola?
Yes.
On the computer, and he introduces them. He's like, Rogers, Steve, 90 years old, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then he gets to Natasha and he goes, Romanoff, Natasha, 32 years old.
Oh.
Because Natasha's not 32.
She was around in World War
She's like
II.
She should be like 70, 80 years old. Because she has a knockoff Russian version of the super soldier serum.
Yes. And fun fact for people who don't know, Wolverine trained Black Widow in the comic books.
Yes.
For those who don't know. The Wolverine origin series was so fucking great.
Speaking of Winter Soldier, it was also in that scene, or it might have been a deleted scene, that Cap found out that Bucky was responsible for the Stark's death. And that knowledge, trailing back a bit, is what kept Cap from lifting Thor's hammer in Age of Ultron. It's why he could wiggle it, but keeping that knowledge secret from Tony
Made him unworthy.
I don't think he knew yet, though, did he?
That's what the controversy is. I haven't gotten around to rewatching Winter Soldier.
Civil War came out after Ultron.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the only thing about that is that would give him even...
Winter Soldier came out before Age of Ultron.
But so he didn't know. But he
came before Ultron?
Yes, but even the thing about that is that might even give him more of a reason to be worthy because he's protecting someone who wasn't in their right mind.
Yeah, that could go either way.
Ethical dilemma.
Now, here's a fun fact for you, and the comic book fans listening can fact check me on this, but you'll find out I'm right anyway. You have to be willing to kill to be worthy of the hammer. It's one of the reasons why Spider-Man and Ben Grimm aren't worthy. Because I remember when the hammer came back to Earth, Ben tried to lift it. He goes, "Come on, we'd all try." and he couldn't lift it. I'm like, who has a purer heart than Ben Grimm? But it's also the idea of like confidence. Like in the comic book, unworthy Thor can't lift it anymore because he can't for himself. He can't really get out of his own head. So it kind of makes sense that he wouldn't be able to lift the hammer. Same thing with Spider-Man. He has all this self-doubt. And even when he's really sure of himself, Spider-Man goes from I hate myself to I'm better than everybody in like the snap of Thanos' fingers. You know what I mean? So I can understand why he's not worthy. But so there's a lot of things that go into just being worthy other than just being a good person. Like, you know what I mean? What are you going to do with this power? What are you going to do when put in the option of smiting everybody and then, blah, blah, blah. Which is weird why Hydra Cap could lift the hammer until real Steve Rogers showed up and started calling him out on his bullshit, and then he couldn't lift the hammer anymore. Is there anything... Well, you have some notes. So
yeah, we've gone through most of them already.
Let me... do you have anything else? I can take a quick break and we can come back. It's really up to you guys.
I think the biggest one is all the implications that came along with the Avengers snap that undid Thanos' snap.
Okay. Speak on it.
What were they thinking?
Ooh, right. I mean, I'll find that meme. It's
Danny sent me a picture, and it was kind of one of those like superhero texts back and forth.
I love those.
And it was
text from superheroes.
Text from superheroes, and it was a text between Peter Parker
and his buddy
Ned.
Well, I'm still pissed off that they stole Gone from us, by the way.
And this will perfectly sum up the problems that could arise from the Avengers snap. Danny, go ahead, read that.
Alright, so it's in Spidey sending a text to Ned. I'm excited for our field trip to Italy. Do you know if that Brian kid is coming? Ned responds, no, Brian's a man now. He didn't get snapped. He finished his bachelor's degree and bought a house. Spidey responds, wow, good for him, I guess. Ned replies, he's kind of screwed up though. The previous owners snapped back into existence and they're pissed that he lives there. Spidey retorts, oh, you don't think we're avoiding dealing with deep trauma and societal issues, do you? Nah, man, we're going to Italy. Italy! And so
Avengers.
You just made the list!
Yes, Avengers just made the list. And I mean,
Stupid idiot!
in terms of the movie, it made sense.
Yes.
Tony Stark didn't want to lose everything that he had gained since the snap. He found some sort of peace, tranquility, like freedom in his mountain retreat with just him and Pepper and their daughter, and he didn't want to lose all of that. I get that in the sense of the movie. But think about the guy that's talking in Captain America's support group.
Yes.
He's talking about how he lost his husband. He's talking about how he went on another date. Not his first date. He went on another date. So he's been dating.
Which I like that they did that subtly and didn't like kind of focus on it.
Right.
I hate when you try to like add what's the word I'm looking for? When you try to add more inclusiveness
Sure.
to things, and then it looks forced.
no, it was very natural.
Yes, I love that it was just like
regardless of if he was talking about dating men or women,
Yeah.
but he was dating. 5 years is
it's a long time.
a long time. People could have gotten remarried. People could have had kids.
Yeah.
Now take you and your wife, right? You get snapped. Maria finds somebody new 5 years later. She has a kid. You get snapped back.
With no recollection.
It's been
Yeah.
it's just been a
5
matter of a couple of seconds for you.
Yeah.
What happens to society?
But we can even go like there's so much that but you're right, there's so much that goes into that. All we saw were the good in that. I'm wondering if Spider-Man.
That's what I'm banking on. I'm banking on Far From Home for establishing how much time has passed since Endgame and the after effects since with it.
It has to be.
That's why they go on the trip.
To establish school and to establish a 2-week trip overseas for a bunch of New York teens, things kind of need to have your ducks in a row.
What does that mean for Peter Parker? He was, 16 when he got snapped?
Yeah.
It's now 5 years later. He's 21, according to the calendar.
Who?
Peter Parker.
Well, he was gone. He was snapped.
He was snapped. But that doesn't mean that
According
his
to the
birth
law.
certificate still says when he was born.
Oh God, the red tape with that?
He gets
This is
to
what
drink his
I'm
sorrows
saying.
away.
He's physiologically 16, mentally 16, emotionally 16, but according to all his paperwork, he's 21. He can drink, he can gamble.
I'd drink with Peter Parker.
No.
He's a one beer chump. Like someone gave him ginger ale and told him it was beer, and he was drunk.
Oh, he's
I see that. I can see that.
And he's not a drinker on any level. I would be very annoyed. I will say this though: if I'm gonna drink and he's not going to, he is the perfect designated driver.
Of course, he's going to make sure you got home.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nobody's gonna get to you.
No, at
You're
all.
gonna be fine. You're not gonna get lost.
Yeah.
Even if you did, he's gonna find you.
Yeah. Put the spider tracer on.
Just smack it right on your back. It's gonna be okay.
It's like, Mark, we did this last time. You escaped.
All right, man. This has been the Old Man Wade Show. Fuck you guys. Oh man, before we go.
It's a trap!
Oh fuck, wrong goddamn button. What the? Hold on. I'm gonna do this right, and I'm not editing any of this, by the way.
Nice.
There we go.
Hey, Danny, can you say "damn it, Wade" for me?
Damn it, Wade!